All right, what is up? Let everyone hop in here a little bit. Yes, I'm wearing an LSU jacket. I'm Coach Jeff Grimes this evening. No, I'm kidding. This is Mitch Harper here, ESPN 960 Sports. Instant reaction to Jeff Grimes, LSU offensive line coach, being named as BYU's next offensive coordinator. And this is a good hire. This is a huge hire for BYU. In fact, I think it shows a new vision. I think it shows a new commitment to BYU football, to the likes of which we haven't seen possibly ever in BYU history, to be quite honest. This is a big deal. Jeff Grimes, and obviously reports coming out, Football Scoop put this report out on Grimes, and then Ross Dellinger from the Louisiana Advocate reports as well. But I think, with Jeff Grimes, he was always one of the lead candidates for this position. I think a lot of people looked at the salary, the $550,000, and thought they're just not going to be able to afford him at all. But the thing is that I think BYU realized this was a critical hire, not only just for Kalani Sitake, but I think they also realized that for the future of the program, BYU's at a critical pivot point right now where you know that in around 2022, 2023, conference expansion is going to happen. You can't affect the brand and have more 4-9 seasons like you did this year at BYU. Historically bad season that the Cougars had this year. So I think they realized that they had to make this move, and nothing's official yet on BYU's, and I think we're going to get official word here before the weekend. But what a home run for Kalani Sitake. I mean, Kalani said in the Hawaii week that he knew he knew how to get this fixed. And many people kind of questioned his ability to know how to get this fixed. And I think early indications are getting a guy like Jeff Grimes with all of his experience. I mean, you're talking about 13, 14 years around Power 5 conferences. That's huge. And understanding the college football world, and also understanding the unique challenges being around BYU. And he's seen BYU firsthand. He saw BYU against LSU in the Louisiana Superdome, and BYU was absolutely awful offensively, but he still wanted this job, and I think that's pretty notable. I think that, Grimes, what the challenge for him now is what will his staff look like. I think he's been putting out feelers, and I think a lot of these names that we've been hearing as candidates for the offensive coordinator position are going to be guys that could potentially be on this staff. I think a guy like Paul Peterson as the quarterback coach would be a home run hire for BYU. We had Paul Peterson on. I interviewed him on ESPN 960 Sports, and you can go hear that interview on our Spreaker page on ESPN960sports.com. He said he would love to be at BYU. That's why I think Paul Peterson, Fesi Sitake, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Fesi, if in fact he does factor into the equation, how much is BYU willing to increase their pay potentially for position coaches. I mean, with Fesi, I'm very intrigued to see what he makes at Weber State. Could BYU get him on as a wide receiver coach? Because I think it is critical for Grimes to have a guy on his staff that has called plays, and I think that's going to be important for Grimes. And I think, again, Jeff Grimes being hired as BYU's offensive coordinator, that's a big get for Kalani Sitake, and I think it's a huge boom for BYU. I mean, you lose Ty Detmer, you relieve a legend. People were very upset. They're saying these comments on Twitter of Ty Detmer was done dirty. No, he wasn't done dirty. It was the day after the Hawaii game, and it was likely a situation where, from what I've gathered, that Kalani sat him down and said, "What would you do?" And Ty pretty much agreed that if he would have been in Kalani's shoes, he would have let Ty go as well. The offense did not perform. Jeff Grimes comes in, and I think it's a big boost for BYU. And ultimately, let's face it, folks, Ty was respected for his football knowledge. He was amazing as far as his knowledge of the game. No one knows football better than Ty Detmer, but he didn't teach it well enough. And I also don't think that players feared him in any capacity. Jeff Grimes is going to be a hard ass. I mean, he was around BYU in 2004 to 2006 with Gary Crow and Bronco Mendenhall. Grimes is going to be a tough dude. And I think, if you're not this whole talk about culture and lack of effort and guys getting popped for, having drugs in a Frisbee because they don't have a bag to carry their weed in. That's not going to be allowed. I mean, you got to have some discipline. You got to have some structure because I think Kalani understood he's fighting for his job. He's got to bring a tough guy that's going to be a disciplinarian on this group, and I think Grimes fits that bill to a T. I think it's a great hire. I think this is a huge boost for BYU. As far as what you look at in 2018, though, I mean, you got to think reasonable expectations, modest expectations, excuse me. You can't come in thinking, oh, Grimes is going to set the world on fire. BYU's got huge concerns at the quarterback spot. I mean, you look at a guy, Tanner Mangan, what's his status going to be like? Bo Hodge, where's his health at? You get Stacy Connor. Can you get Zachary Wilson from Corner Canyon? A lot of talented kids, potential Joe Critchlow, Cody Wilstead, but really no proven commodity. So that's going to be an interesting work. The battles you're going to see in spring ball, I got to think that there's going to be a lot of intrigue there. But I also think, too, offensive line coach Mike Empey likely going to stay as well. I know Jay Drew from the Salt Lake Tribune tweeted such. I've heard as much as well. And I think they got a close working relationship. Empey worked with Grimes, so I would expect Empey to stay on because that's a tall order. I mean, offensive coordinator plus O-line coach, I don't see that being the case. But, it's going to be – I'm very curious, though, to see how much autonomy Jeff Grimes really does have on this staff. Because if he gets the power and the control to actually make his decisions, I think, again, it signals a new day for BYU football and maybe the power and the power structure that we see usually historically at BYU. Maybe there's a new commitment, the likes of which we've never seen for BYU football, and I think that's very notable beyond just the name of hiring Jeff Grimes. But you can follow me on Twitter, Mitch_Harper. I'll be on Cougar Sports with Ben Criddle tomorrow. Likely going to have Jay Caressa on the show. We're going to have Ross Dellinger on the show as well tomorrow at 5:05 p.m. Also working on getting Larry Kriskoviak, too, on the show tomorrow to talk BYU Utah basketball. I know that the rivalry game, no one's interested in that now. We want to talk BYU football, and rightfully so. I mean, who doesn't want to talk football all year long? But a lot to get to tomorrow. Cougar Sports with Ben Criddle, 3 to 7, ESPN 960. Hope you enjoyed this. Periscope, big night for BYU football. We'll keep you covered on ESPN 960 Sports.